Conservative new media viewers and NBA fans around the world, what is up? It is me, PFE, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here to discuss San Antonio's 110-95 big win tonight over the visiting Miami Heat in Game 1 of the 2014 NBA Finals. Now, for Heat fans, this game is likely to go down as the air conditioner game. If you did not watch the broadcast, the air conditioner in the AT&T Center, which is where the San Antonio Spurs play, was broken for the entire night. And so what happened was it got hot, like almost 90 degrees plus on the court. And as the game wore on, the players wore down. And the person who really suffered from this, in my opinion, was LeBron James. Because with about 7.5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter and the Miami Heat leading by 2 points, LeBron was forced to leave the game because of bad muscle cramps in his legs, which if you've watched LeBron's career before, you know he has this issue or he can have this issue. Muscle cramps are often due to dehydration. And so that's probably a direct result of the air conditioner issue. And I know a lot of Miami Heat fans are going to argue that cost them this game because LeBron was out for almost the rest of the contest. He came back in for one moment, scored a basket, and then had to leave immediately after. So basically, Miami did not have LeBron James for the final 7.5 minutes of this game, and they fell apart without him. He has clearly been the MVP of these playoffs coming into this final series. And without him, they're not winning anything. But credit must be given to the San Antonio Spurs. They outscored Miami by 19 points in the fourth quarter of this game. And when they needed to step up, they stepped up huge, including Danny Green, who just caught fire in the fourth quarter. I think he might have had all 13 of his points in the fourth quarter, including 2 or 3 three-pointers. Everybody started picking it up, and they took advantage of the situation. And that's what you have to do. Both teams played in the same arena without the air conditioner, and the Spurs' depth is a little bit better than Miami's. And so even though they got a break with LeBron going out, they turned on it. They turned it into something immediately and ended up blowing the Heat out. Tim Duncan led the Spurs 21 points, 10 rebounds. Manu Ginobili was a monster off of the bench in this game with 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 11 assists. Tony Parker, 19 points, 8 assists. For the Heat, they were led by LeBron, 25 points, 6 boards. Dwayne Wade, 19 points, 3 boards. Chris Bosh, 18 points, 9 rebounds. I thought both teams played a very sound game, except the Spurs turned the ball over too much, but that had a lot to do with Miami's defense. I was split in coming into this series. I could see this series either Heat in 6 games or Spurs in 7 games. I liked the way Miami looked for a lot of this game. Their defensive intensity, particularly in the third quarter, was outstanding. In the third quarter alone, they forced 9 Spurs turnovers, and they were converting them into points. Also, strategically, the Heat got LeBron James and Dwayne Wade in motion on offense so that they could get easier shots against San Antonio's defense. I thought LeBron looked very good. He looked very confident. If you remember at the start of the 2013 finals, LeBron was not playing very well for the first 3 games. Well, he started out quite well in this game and in this series, so that's a good indication for the Heat. Hopefully, nobody was injured in this game because of the Heat. Hopefully, LeBron will be good and ready to go on Sunday here in the United States. There are now 2 days off between this game and game number 2, which will also take place in San Antonio. Look, the Spurs This isn't Indiana. This isn't Charlotte. This isn't Brooklyn. The Spurs are a championship-level team, and they're ready to win. They want to win, and if you give them an opportunity to win, they're going to win. And that's exactly what happened later on in this game. Both teams shot very well from three-point range. Miami was 12 of 29, and the Spurs were 13 of 25. The Spurs shot 59% for the game, which is incredible, particularly against Miami's defense when Miami's defense is focused. The Spurs got twice as many free throw attempts, 22 to Miami's 11. Miami's not always going to get a lot of free throw attempts because they're more of a jump shooting team, although Wade and LeBron go to the basket quite a bit. But the Spurs were aggressive. They needed to be, and it paid off for them. The Spurs were also plus 10 in rebounding, and they were plus 3 in second chance points. As I mentioned earlier, the Spurs turned the ball over too much. That was probably their worst aspect of their game tonight. They had 23 total turnovers, and that led to 28 Miami points. So they're going to need to sharpen up their execution for the rest of the series because Miami can make defensive runs, and they usually look like what they looked like in the third quarter of this game, which is getting steals and getting fast break layups and dunks. And Miami at the key positions is younger than the Spurs are. I'm talking about Ginobili and Duncan in particular. Also, Tony Parker's 31. Miami's younger than that. So if they want to turn the pressure up, they will. And so they're going to be able to do that at certain times of this series. So the Spurs are going to need to be more responsible with the basketball, or else they're going to be in trouble. Spurs were plus 12 in points in the paint. And that means scoring in the little rectangle area right beside the basket. And they were plus 1 in fast break points. I thought the Spurs did a good job getting out on the break when they could. Tony Parker was effective in that in this game. And Kawhi Leonard was taken out of this game a fair amount early because of foul trouble. I thought LeBron was intelligent about how to attack Kawhi Leonard, and he did get him into trouble. For the Miami Heat, Mario Chalmers was in foul trouble the entire game, and I thought that affected the Heat, or just certainly hurt him personally, but it affected the Heat as well, in my opinion. So that is pretty much it. Spurs take command. They win the first game. I believe they won the first game of the 2013 finals as well. If you're a Miami Heat fan, don't worry. It's one game, and as you know, Miami often loses the first game of playoff series. That doesn't necessarily mean much going forward. The only thing that's important in this game is hopefully LeBron's not hurt. If LeBron's hurt, then you're toast. But he's probably not going to be hurt. It's hopefully just cramps. And so we'll move on to game number 2. I'm incredibly impressed with Tim Duncan. He had 21 points and 10 boards, as I said earlier. For a guy at 38 years old to put up 20 points and 10 rebounds in the finals is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And if the series continues this way, and obviously we've got a long way to go, then you could be looking at Tim Duncan winning his 4th finals MVP trophy, which would even take him higher up on the legacy chart than he already is. And I think he's already clearly a top 10 player of all time. And so I'm very happy for Tim Duncan. I know the Spurs fans are going crazy right now in San Antonio, and they deserve to do so. These are the 2 best teams in the NBA. You saw a great game for the majority of this game, and that's probably the way this whole series is going to be. The good thing for the Spurs, along with winning, of course, they got a very good performance from their bench. They got 34 points from their bench compared to Miami's 20 points on their bench. And their bench for the Spurs must come up big. They've done well all season. They've done pretty well throughout the playoffs. There were a couple moments in the Oklahoma City series where they didn't do so hot, but playing as well as they did tonight will give them confidence going forward in this series, and that is critical if the Spurs intend to win the series. So Hats off, Coach Popovich, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and the boys from San Antonio get it done tonight in impressive fashion. They outscore Miami 36-17 in the fourth quarter, turn a 4-point deficit at the beginning of the fourth quarter into a 15-point victory to go up 1-0 in the 2014 finals. Again, I am Paula Filleriel, PFE. I will include in the video description below the player information so you can go and check out full highlights of this game if you have not get to check the game out. We will talk to you again soon. Thanks very much for watching Conservative New Media. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and your comments below. What did you see in the game tonight? Who are you impressed with? What do you think is going to happen in Game 2 and for the rest of this series? Hope everybody's enjoying the finals around the world, wherever you are. Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. It is slightly after midnight here, early on the 6th of June, Friday, the 6th, 2014. I know we got fans all over the world that have stayed up late or are up super early to watch the NBA Finals. Best time of the year for us Hoops fans. So take care. Talk to you again soon.